let's move away from Canada for a second. Let's move away from tariffs. And Kamala Harris popped back out. I couldn't believe it when I seen it myself. And so she was on a Zoom call and she was actually celebrating a thing that was worse for the Wisconsin voters, for the Louisiana voters. But in addition to that, a new book from a aide and a staffer says that Barack Obama was not even really for Kamala Harris and knew that she would lose the whole time. But we're going to get into it. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is a small clip from Kamala Harris popping out and giving her opinion and her perspective on what happened during these last, mid-season elections that people had going on. All right, so check this out.
There is an unelected billionaire who should not and will not have a greater voice than the working people of Wisconsin. You all are working on behalf of an individual, a candidate in Judge Crawford, who will always fight to protect your freedoms and your rights, including your right to organize and advocate for fair wages and working conditions that are safe, and who will protect your right to make decisions about your own body without government interference. You all are just extraordinary. You love our country. You care. You are making such extraordinary sacrifices on behalf of so many people, on behalf of communities, on behalf of people you may never meet. And I just say thank you.
So Kamala Harris is now popping out and she's becoming more visible. Yes, she looks high. Yeah, she still talks like she's off that good. You know what I'm saying? She do look like she takes Xannies. I couldn't tell you or nothing like that. But yeah, she is popping out and she is now being more visible and getting involved in politics. I believe that she's personally going to find herself running for governor of California, and that's where she's going to find her way. But yes, she is popping out, still looking crazy. But that wasn't the bigger story with regard to Kamala Harris, all right? I believe that the bigger story was this. Recently, a staffer is writing a book saying The Wildest Battle for the White House, Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House by Jonathan Allen. And they are breaking down the fact that Barack Obama was actually against Kamala Harris and nobody thought that she could win, but yet they still put $1.5 billion behind her. And for what reason, we don't know. Check this out.
Something that really jumps out here is that Barack Obama didn't think that Joe Biden should continue, and he initially didn't think Kamala Harris should replace him. Jonathan, tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. And just to point out, I think everyone there on set features in this book. Jonathan Lemire features prominently. Reverend Sharpton does. Joe, you and Mika do. Except Willie. I'm sorry. Sorry, Willie. We love you.
I'll shoot for your next book. 2028. What are you writing about? I'm going to work myself into the story.
That means he's the underscore source.
You're lucky.
No, he's the leaker. It's like you look at all the words.
Okay, let me look at what
was
said.
he just outed me.
Well done, Rev. That's right. I was reading one book one time, I think it was The Commanders. And everybody, Colin Powell wasn't mentioned in the book, and he was the main commander. Colin Powell wrote that book.
There we go.
So, Jonathan, you just told us, Willie, write this book. Go ahead.
Yep.
So President Obama absolutely did not think that Joe Biden should continue, according to our sources close to President Obama. And he also didn't want Kamala Harris to be the replacement for Biden. He didn't think that she was the best choice for Democrats. And he worked really behind the scenes for a long time to try to have a mini primary or an open convention or mini primary leading to an open convention. Did not have faith in her ability to win the election. So, and as it turned out, she didn't win, but he was really working against her. In one moment, he had set up a phone call with Congressman Clyburn from South Carolina on the day that Joe Biden handed off the baton to Kamala Harris. And Obama had set up a call with Clyburn for 5:30 that afternoon. And Clyburn thought to himself, this guy's going to try to rope me into the open convention thing. I better get my endorsement of Harris out there fast so that this is a short conversation.
Wow.
So that's and when Harris talked to Obama on the day that Biden handed off to her, Obama was unwilling to give his endorsement then.
I remember because I did a live stream and I was breaking it down and I was saying that, isn't it funny how Obama and Michelle Obama, and they were being criticized by AOC, they were being criticized by all of the Democrats, they was being criticized by Nancy Pelosi, and that Obama did not initially, for a long time, it was at least a week, Obama did not initially give Kamala Harris an endorsement for president of the United States of America. I don't know if y'all remember that. Obama did not immediately endorse Kamala Harris. When she did that little phone call, that little promo where it was like she was talking on the phone, that wasn't really, you know what I'm saying? That was all set up. That was not Obama and Obama administration and Kamala Harris and all of that stuff. That was not any of that. You called that too? I called it. The one thing that Obama, let me tell you something. I believe personally that Obama is the Democrat Party. Even to this day, I believe that he has been the one pulling the strings since 2008. Wins, losses, what happens, all of this stuff. I believe that Obama is the one that was pulling the strings while Biden was in office the entire time. That's my own personal belief. I don't have any proof. This is just my instincts talking. I believe that Obama is the one that has been controlling the White House the entire time that Biden was there. Because you're not going to tell me that Biden was coherent enough or he had the mindset or that Obama and all of that stuff. I believe that that's also why Michelle Obama is so upset still. Even though Obama left the White House, in 2016, he was in the White House 8 to 12, 12 to 16. But Michelle Obama still be talking big stuff. She's still on her podcast. She had this saying on the podcast where she was saying that, man, listen, bro. Listen. Obama has been president, and maybe this is also one of the reasons why Trump feel like he could run for president for a third time. I'm just talking out of my butt right now. Call me crazy, okay? Obama has been president for 3 terms, in my opinion. 3 terms. Like him, love him, hate him, rock with him, or whatever. 3 terms, in my opinion. And when he paraded Joe Biden out, right, and then eventually Joe Biden conceded because of Nancy Pelosi visiting him when he allegedly got COVID, and he was over at Camp David. And then automatically Kamala Harris became the endorsement, and all of these Democrats hurry up and endorsed her. It was because they were voting against Obama, in my opinion. I don't think that Democrats love Obama as much as we think that they do, but he is the one that has been controlling everything. And then when he said that Kamala Harris, and they should have listened to him if they wanted to win, not that he was best for America, but if they really wanted to win, because I think that Trump was going to wipe out anybody anyway. If they wanted to win, they should have listened to him because Kamala Harris never had a chance. And Obama was the only Democrat that said it, that even hinted at it, that reserved his endorsement, and they got on him. Jasmine Crockett and them got on him. AOC got on him. All of those people got on him. It was no way that she ever had a chance of winning. And Obama correctly called it. And he said, listen, we need to have a little mini primary. We need to have a little conversation. We need to sit back for a minute instead of jumping out there. And they threw all of this money behind Kamala Harris, and they spent all of this money, and they ran their campaign into the ground. And then they went back and they regretted it. But in reality, I believe that he was the one that was right all the time as far as whether or not they even had a chance at winning that president of the United States of America.
Wow. You know, Amy, we always look back in retrospect and think things were a certain way just because it's the way the media at the time defined it. You know, I remember after Biden's shockingly bad presidential debate, that's when like the history books were starting, you know, you could just see that was going to be the reason why he was pushed out of the race and he was doing badly. But I remember talking to a reporter 3 days before the primary, before the debate, and we were talking about how Biden was starting to fall behind in Minnesota, that Virginia was getting really tight, uncomfortably tight, and Democrats were afraid Biden would even lose New Hampshire. These Democratic states were starting to go, sort of even. We both said to each other, the funny thing is, like, no matter how Biden does in this debate, people are going to blame the debate for the way the polls are already breaking before the debate, right?
Yeah, exactly, Joe. And that's exactly why his advisors felt the need to jump in and kind of switch up the narrative. They knew they were looking at polling. He was looking at polling, and they knew that he was losing. And so they needed to do something, even though there was an advisor, Anita Dunn, who was against it at first. Nancy Pelosi went to Biden and said, you don't need to debate him. Why would you sink to Trump's level and debate him? So there were people who didn't want to debate him. And then, of course, they felt the need to. So there he was. But, we take you inside the book. And what's fascinating is that none of these leaders are gathered together. We have Nancy Pelosi sitting in her living room alone watching. We have Jim Clyburn, who John just mentioned, sitting alone, having a drink. And meanwhile, as the debate is unfolding, their phones are blowing up. And that is when everything unfolds and unravels from there, and the 24 days continue.
So, yes, a new book is coming out talking about a battle for the White House that exposes what was really going on behind the scenes. Of course, you're going to have Democrats and people acting like they didn't know what was going on. There's a lot of people that still believes that Kamala Harris should be president of the United States of America. I don't know what kind of crack that they smoking on, but we need some of that. And because maybe that'll help me go to sleep at night. You sleep more than 8 hours a night. But in a nutshell, basically, Kamala Harris is starting to pop out so that she can get a little bit more visibility. She's riding the waves of things that she did not endorse. So think about it like this. This is the new playbook for Kamala Harris. She pops out after the results are there to thank the people and act like she has some kind of backing in what was going on. When you see what happened in Wisconsin, she only speaking about the win. She never endorsed her prior to the actual victory of the Supreme Court judge over in Wisconsin, right? When you see what happens in Louisiana, she pops out and she says, and to the people of Louisiana, I knew that you guys can do it. The reality is that she's now taking a different strategic approach after a huge loss, because I believe that she's taking into consideration what she wants her political future to be, and she's trying to endear herself to the people, but she's not doing it in the same way that the AOC, the Jasmine Crockett, and the Bernie Sanders is doing. She's not going on tour, but I do think that, in my opinion, I think that she's going to run for governor of California.